Hello. Hi.
Hello. Your screen went off.
Don't worry too much about the screen. Well, my name is Richard. What is your name?
My name is Manoj.
Manoj, it's nice to meet you. And in your profile, it says you're from the United States. Is that correct?
No, I'm from India.
Okay. I just thought I would ask because it looks a bit strange seeing the American profile there. So I'd like to ask you, why do you want to learn English? Is it for your job? Is it for education or travel?
It's for the travel. I'm planning to go abroad. After this pandemic, I'll be traveling. So I thought of practicing with you guys.
Okay. And I'd like to ask you, where did you learn your English?
From my schools because I was studying in a government school. So English is a part of our second language. Learn from
Okay.
there. But the first language is Tamil, our mother tongue. So we had a little difficult while entering into the college. Now it's somehow okay.
And what do you think are your strengths and your weaknesses when it comes to English?
It's more like sometimes I feel like I might have a grammatical mistake while speaking to the persons. So
But
sometimes I felt I'm using inappropriate vocabularies in between the conversation. So yeah, I think both of them is a little difficult for me.
well, don't be afraid of that. Everybody makes little mistakes, even native
Ah,
English speakers. But if that is something you would like to work on in the future, I would be happy to sort something out. So
sure.
I think from what I have heard so far, your conversation and your confidence is quite good. But what would you like to work on your accent maybe or pronunciation?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
I know that is something a lot of Indian people struggle with.
The
Their
pronunciation. Yeah, the tone.
The Indian accent is very strong.
Correct.
So I think it is part of the culture. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard
No,
that in
eh,
India, if you're not speaking the loudest or the fastest, then you're not going to be heard in the room.
correct.
So, and where would you like to travel to in the future? You mentioned you wanted to travel.
Yeah, so actually, it's not about only the travel. I might be going to Canada to study for my master's, or else to New Zealand after
And
2 years.
what do you want to study?
So actually, I am a degree holder in civil engineering. So currently, I'm working as a project manager in an interior company. So if I study masters in the same project management of constructions, so that I can be some higher position in some big MNCs.
And
Also,
well, that is the question I would like to ask you is if you go to Canada and study there, do you think you would want to stay in Canada or would you come back to your home city?
I'm not sure because it depends on the situations how it will be. Because see, 6 months ago, okay, let's go to the abroad. We'll study and we'll have a good futures. Now everything is uncertain, so nobody knows what will happen in next minute.
Well, with the coronavirus happening, I see a lot of schools and universities are closing and people are changing to online classes for their
Yes, sir.
education.
Correct, correct.
I'd like to ask your opinion on that. Where do you think is the better place to learn English, in a classroom or on the internet?
Actually, it depends on the person, I would say. But if we learning in a classrooms, that would be great because we will be communicating with more than minimum 30 to 40 people. But if you are like learning from the online, I'm not sure we'll be talking to one or like at a time we can't communicate with more than two people in online. It will be disturbance.
So I do think the one-to-one lessons are a better way to learn the language and focus on that.
Yeah,
Because if you
it's
have a big classroom, you have one teacher and you have 20, 30, you as a teacher, you can only give each student a little bit of time.
correct, correct. That is correct. My concern is if you want to teach more than 10 people at one time, classroom is best, but if you want to give full efficiency or give full attention to one person, one to one in online would be better. So that's why I came to the online, right? So this is always better, but comparatively, like if you want to teach in numbers, so classroom it's the best way. Both has the
Okay.
advantages and disadvantages.
Well, it's been nice to listen to you. I've got some ideas about things we could work on in the future. If you would like to have another chat with me, I would be more than happy to open up some time for you. How
Sure,
often
I
do
will
you
schedule
practice your
the,
English?
yeah, sure, I'll schedule that next video conference.
I'm asking, how often do you want to use Cambly? Is it 3 times a week or once a week, 5 times?
3 times in a week.
I think that is probably for the best. It is like going to the gym. If you practice too much speaking, you can get exhausted. But 3 to 5 times a week is the perfect time.
Yeah, correct.
Uh, well, we have less than a minute left. Before you go, I'd like to ask if you have any other questions for me.
I would like to know if all the people from United Kingdom knows English very much, or how it is. Just 10-second answer is fine, because in India, like
Well,
people who study in school, they know
the problem with English is that their English may be perfect, but their accent is very thick and hard to understand. It is less about knowing English and more about being clear. The clarity is the key to using English, especially in a business environment.
okay. So it is different in countryside of UK and as well in the cities, right?
Yes, each city has a different accent, and it can be very confusing at times.
Oh,
Even some native English speakers cannot understand other natives.
okay. It's because of the tongue and the
Oh,